guys, John Fitzen once again with a fantastic video. You guys are gonna love this. And don't call me K-Pack. K-Pack.
K-Pack.
K-Pack. Hey guys, John Fitzen with another great one. You guys are going to like this. I'm going to introduce you to a buddy of mine. He is man. He's the god. He is the gun god. He knows all the stuff on using deadly force, gun stuff all over the United States and everything. This is his special edition book. This is for like us. But I like this one. But anyway, this is the one we're going to go. This is the cover. The other one's a special edition. And his name's Mitch Vilos.
Hey John, it's good to be here in your shop.
Good to see you, buddy.
I've always wanted to know just what you do.
Were you impressed when you went up there?
I'm absolutely impressed. I'm convinced he's the best knife maker in the whole country.
I sharpened a knife for him. He liked it.
Yeah.
He was very like.
Now I'm afraid to pull it out of my pocket.
Oh well, hey, tell us what you do. How
All right.
you do it?
My name is Mitch Vilos. I'm a trial lawyer here in Salt Lake City, Utah. One of my specialties is self-defense law. The last 2 years, my son and I have been researching all the laws of self-defense in the entire country, including Washington, D.C., 51 different jurisdictions, and we have compiled what we found into a new book called The Self-Defense Laws of All 50 States. Now, why is that important? The reason it's important to anybody who might ever use force, whether it's lethal force or whether it's non-lethal force, is so that they know what the rules are and what the hidden traps are, because there are a multitude of hidden traps that entrap gun owners primarily, but people that defend themselves with knives or any other implement, and these people end up in prison thinking that they knew what the law of self-defense was.
Yeah. And I've been caught into some things. They say usually at least once in your life you're going to hit into something. I've had probably 6 or 7 times when I've been face to face with thinking, I'm going to end up killing this guy. But my dad always taught me, you got to think legal. You know, because even when I've been the good guy, it's been hard to where, you know, I end up getting in trouble.
Yeah. And there are just so many rules that you need to be aware of. One of the first rules, of course, is that you cannot be the person that started the fight. Mm-hmm. Because if you are considered what they call, in legal terms, the initial aggressor, then you lose the right to self-defense. I mean, you basically just have to let them kill you if you started the conflict. Now, there are some exceptions to that, which we've written about in our book. But once it gets that complicated, you're going to be arrested, you're going to be prosecuted, and it's going to be expensive. So you better make sure it's worth it. You know, if you pull an implement, a knife, a gun, whatever you use for self-defense, you better know what the rules are. Now, every state's law, this is something we found, every state in the Union has a different set of self-defense laws. If you think you know what the laws of Wyoming are, for example, here we are in Utah, you drive 80 miles to Evanston, Wyoming, and you think you understand the laws of Wyoming, and because it's a western state, that its laws are exactly the same as Utah's, think again.
Oh, I know. You know what? Me and the bike club that I was in and everything, we always called up different states, what we can carry, how we can carry.
So they do have, just so you know, you people from Vegas or traveling through Vegas, a lot of people from California, well, Vegas is visited by every citizen from every state of the Union, but they do have an old law in the books that says that counties can set the rules despite what they call the uniformity law. And that means that Clark County's been able to require people to register their handguns.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if you're going to stay there any length of time, and I think that's a distinguishing factor.
Yeah.
In other words, if you're going to stay there less than 60 days, you're probably okay to be in transit, interstate commerce, because there's a Firearms Owners Protection Act that protects you while you're in interstate commerce. But if you stop for any length of time, and it's like you're a temporary visitor in Nevada for over 2 months, you're going to have to register the handgun if you're going to have that handgun.
For over 2 months?
Yeah, in Clark County. So you've got to be aware of those things. Now, the other thing that we want to make you aware of is that if you think you know the law, a lot of police academies aren't teaching their officers what the law is.
Oh, I've noticed that.
So you're gonna, you're gonna find I've read it. I've read the black letter law. I've got it right here in the book. And you get a police officer that comes up. They haven't had the time put into that study of that particular law, whether it's a carry law or a self-defense law, and you're liable to get hassled and may be arrested. And especially if you're causing any kind of disturbance, they're going to arrest you.
Yeah, remember I told Mitch one day, I said there's a guy who came in my officer came into my shop, and he started looking at the knife laws book that I have in here, going through Utah, and he goes, wait a sec, I busted this guy for a switchblade. I go, what? He goes, yeah. He goes, well, he had it in his car and everything. I go, you busted a guy for a switchblade? He goes, well, yeah. And he goes, but the judge threw the book at him too. And I'm just looking at him going, I just couldn't believe it. And it says right there, you can own a switchblade. You can't have it concealed. The police officer says, do you have any weapons? And he goes, yeah, I got this knife. Didn't say it was switchblade, benchmade, just flicked it out, and yeah, and they bust him. And Mitch, the guy's probably, upstanding citizen, doesn't want any hassles and all the other stuff, and the problems that the families can have. I mean, because the guy's going to court and all this other stuff, but not everybody knows the law. Even, it's sad.
And that's why we're doing this, right?
Yeah, and that's why the book, this right here.
We're hoping some police officers are watching.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm not dogging on police officers, guys.
We're very pro law.
Yeah. I mean, we want to be. Rick is too. I mean, we want to be. Hey, we always want to abide by the law, and that's what we do, don't we, Rick? We
have to.
Yeah, you have to, but we don't want to be a victim either. The old saying. What is it? Carried by 6, or
I'd rather be tried by 12 than carried by 6.
Yeah.
And of course, we cover that in the book.
But I don't want to be in jail with a guy named Bubba either.
Yeah. But you may spend some time in jail, and we cover that. We cover the aftermath of the shooting, and what you should say. You really shouldn't say anything unless you talk to your lawyer.
Exactly.
Because you're going to spend the night in jail anyway. Okay?
If you get pulled over, guys, and the cops. Just talk to them, but don't. How would I say this? You don't want to
run at the mouth.
Yeah, and get in trouble. I mean, keep quiet. You don't know. Say, I don't know. I need to talk to my lawyer, and everything. And that's what you should do.
Well, that's another thing too. These police officers are also trained about what to do after an incident.
Mm-hmm.
They train them in post.
Yeah.
Police officers' standards of training. Okay, they learn that. They're excited after an incident. The adrenaline's rushing. Mm-hmm. They may say things. I mean, I see situations, cases where witnesses say things they don't even mean to say.
Yeah.
I've listened to 911 calls, and people afterwards say, "Did I say that?" Unintentionally.
Yeah.
Because they're under an adrenaline rush. It's important for you to understand what you're going through. Well, they teach police officers not to run at the mouth after an incident. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So they are inside, deep down inside, they're very sympathetic to what you're going through. And if you tell them, I want to talk to my lawyer first, that's exactly the counsel that they got when they went through school.
And it gives you time to think because you're so excited. And guys, I've been that way. And I think Rick's been that way. And it's better you just keep quiet and just say, look, I need to talk to my lawyer. And sit back and think about things. Because, you can say the wrong thing. You can end up...
And you nail your coffin shut. And I'll tell you, we describe, 50, 100 cases in this book. And one of the things we learn in law school is you remember the law better if you're remembering a story about it or a case.
Yeah,
right?
that's true. That's true. I never.
And in about 60 to 90% of the cases that we highlight in the book, the prosecutors would never have had a case if the defendant hadn't spilled his guts during the interview right after the incident.
You know, the other thing I talked to Mitch about, you know, I had some things in California that actually I ended up saving this girl's life. That she was getting beat by her boyfriend. Long story short, staying with a friend of mine in California. She's at Beverly Hills in a gated community. She pays $3,000 a month and everything. She wakes me up, goes, John, oh my God, listen, you can hear this guy's beating this girl to death. And you can actually hear the, and we were on the second floor. They were like, no, we're on the third floor. They're like on the second floor. Well, anyway, got up, threw on my boots, and had just shorts on, you know, commando shorts, I guess. I threw a big Bowie knife in my pit of my back. I didn't have a gun with me because I was worried about California. I didn't want any hassles. Run outside. All of a sudden, you heard it start up. You're gonna kill me. You're gonna kill me. And you could hear the thud, thud. Went up on the second floor. Went to where the noise was coming from. The whole side of the door jamb was covered with blood. I thought, oh man, I don't have a gun with me, but I did have my big Bowie. You know, and I had my vest over it too, my leather vest. I usually have. So I went up the door, couldn't hear anything. All of a sudden, you can hear the door moving, the door handle. Ran around the corner, grabbed her, threw her in the elevator, and she passed out on me. But she was covered from head to toe with blood, and she had big gouges. Looked like she was getting hit with a candlestick holder or something. She came to, and I go, does your husband or boyfriend have a gun? She goes, yes, he does. I thought, shit, I'm trying to get the elevator to close. Finally, it started to close, and here he came. He came right after her, and the guy was as big as I am. I swept his arms out, and I said, leave her alone. And he came after me, just violently, and I ended up doing some things to him and setting him back. And thank God the door shut. So we went upstairs, took her down the hall. My one friend, she goes, John, bring her in the house. No, she's bleeding too much. He could follow the blood trail right to where, you know, my friend was, and I didn't want him to know my friend had anything. Took her around the corner, told my friend to call the police. Took the police 15 minutes to get there, guys. When they finally got there, came around the corner. The older officer went, oh my God, like that. And he was like in his 50s. The younger one just acted like nothing. Came right over to me. He goes, what are you doing here? You know, how did you find out what was going on with her? And I told him, he goes, let me see your ID. But my concealed weapons permit was right by my ID. And I don't want to show this cat my concealed weapons permit because I think it's going to make things go, it could even go, yeah, it could go even worse. So I open it up and go to take it out. He looked over my shoulder, seeing that I had a concealed weapons permit. He backs off, grabs his gun. You know, he goes, what do you have? He goes, you have a gun on you? No, I don't. You know, and I'm just down there going, oh. I said, dude, I'm not the bad guy here. You know, and so, you know, but, you know, that could have got me killed because I didn't have a gun. If I was in the same situation, I would have had my gun out, especially when they said, he has a gun. And I know that's brandishing, but the thing is, you know, dude, if he had a gun, he would have went boom, boom, boom. So after all this, I started thinking, okay, yeah, but I had my knives, you know what I mean? You know, the officer asked me if I had any weapons. I said, yeah, and I looked down at my side, my pocket knife. He didn't know I had the big knife in my pit of my back. Guys, I'm not the bad guy here. So then I came up with an idea. Black powder pistols, non-metallic, you know what I mean? You can load them. Why they consider it is if it's loaded in here, there's not a cap, it's considered unloaded. And I've been doing some studying on it, and this will kill you deader than dead, black powder pistol. And it's not covered under the same as, you know, a metallic cartridge. But each place is different. Utah, Idaho, all this other stuff. But you can go anywhere, Mitch, even in California, and go buy a black powder pistol without paperwork.